Hello everyone and welcome! As I was making my previous card with the big egg, I was deciding what I should use to color the egg. I was deciding between the Distress inks and the Nuvo Shimmer Powders. In the end, I used the Distress inks, but I also really wanted to use the powders. So I made another very simple Easter card, filled with Easter eggs with a sort of tie-dye watercolor background look. As I said, I use the Nuvo Shimmer Powders, which are watercolor powders. So if you don't have these, you can use any other watercolor products. I have 5 colors, and originally I was going to use the mix of red, purple and pink. But in the end, I decided to keep it simple and I just used the pink. I started by applying a clean water over the whole background, and then I picked the bottle of the Nuvo Shimmer Powder and started sprinkling the powder over the background. The best way of applying the powder and getting it out of the bottle is to tap the bottom of the bottle. When I first time used these powders, I was squeezing the bottle and it just created mess. With these powders, you don't need too much, they are very saturated and tapping is much better. I also feel I have better control over the application. You can add more water using a spray bottle to dissolve the powders, but I used a damp brush and spread the color around. I wanted the background to be messy, at some places very saturated, at some places light, and at some places I wanted it to be white. As I said, I wanted to create sort of a tie-dye look. After I was happy with the look, I let the panel dry. I also used a heat tool to speed up the drying process. The powders contained shimmer, so the background was very shimmery, but I still decided to use a golden watercolors and splattered the background. Here you can see the panel after it was dry, and the golden splatter looks really good, at least in my opinion. The next step was to die cut multiple eggs to fill the card. This egg die is from a die set from Sizzix. It should be the third smallest, but you can use any other brand that is available to you. I die cut all the eggs, altogether 12. I actually had to create one more background because I didn't have enough of the eggs. Before adhering them, I first assembled the eggs on top of my card base. This is just to have a general idea where to place them and how much space I want to have between them. And once I was happy with the look, I started adhering the eggs. I used a double-sided foam tape. You can just adhere the eggs using a glue, but I think it looks more interesting when they are a little bit popped up. So I attached the double-sided tape onto the back of the eggs, and then I attached the eggs onto the card base. On the eggs at the bottom and at the top, those ones that were sticking out, I made sure I used a smaller piece of double-sided tape so I don't have a big piece of tape hanging out when cutting it. I hope that makes sense. All the eggs are adhered. I used my scissors and cut off the excess. The eggs that were sticking out, I just opened the card and cut off the ends. Next, I adhered a greeting, simple Happy Easter, and to adhere it, in the middle between the eggs, I doubled up the double-sided tape, and over the egg, on each side of the sentiment, I just used single double-sided foam squares. Here is the card in a close-up. I love the very bright pink and the faux tie-dye look, and I hope you will give this a try. All you need is a colorful background and an egg die. Make sure you check out my previous video where I used a big egg die, embossing folder, and distress inks. This card is also very simple to make. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like and also subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I will see you in my next video.